Hola, muy buenas a todos. En el día de hoy vamos a ver un poco NotebookLM porque han puesto una actualización bastante interesante que a la hora de nosotros usar esta herramienta nos facilita mucho porque aparte de las que ya tenía, que nos ayudaban a la hora de transcribir o meter vídeos largos y tal, en este momento ya se pueden hacer resúmenes en vídeo, que eso es un avance impresionante. De hecho, es muy reciente, lo acaban de poner hace poco y bueno, os voy a enseñar una demostración porque bueno, yo fui a un curso, bueno, no, una formación, mejor dicho, un evento sobre agencias de inteligencia artificial y tal. Y bueno, conversaban dos individuos sobre la creación y gestión de equipos comerciales y me pareció muy interesante, grabé todo, de hecho es una grabación de horas y horas. Y bueno, aquí me da un mini resumen, le pedí un resumen en audio que me lo acabó generando. Bueno, ahora lo está volviendo a generar, pero bueno, lo generé hace 66 días. Y ahora podéis hacer un resumen en vídeo. Aparte del mapa conceptual o mapa mental, que eso, pues eso, para quien lo usa, es una herramienta bastante potente. Aparte, puedes hacer informes como resúmenes, guías de estudio, preguntas frecuentes, en una línea del tiempo basada en IA. Al final, lo que interesa al ecosistema de Google es ir integrando cosas para que tú no abandones su ecosistema y al fin y al cabo lo que quieren es hacerte adicto o dependiente, ¿no?, de su ecosistema. Al final conmigo lo han conseguido porque tienen muchísimas cosas que día a día voy descubriendo. Una de ellas es Google AI Studio, que bueno, aquí os voy a dejar el vídeo para que lo veáis. Son unos 7 minutos. Para los que saben de inglés va a ser una ventaja, para los que no intentaré poner unos subtítulos. Pero bueno, aquí os lo dejo.
All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're going to be a fly on the wall for a single, raw business conversation, because hidden inside is this incredible blueprint for building an actual empire. This isn't just about starting a company, you know? It's about playing the long game, about building a legacy. So let's dive right in. So, picture this. There's this piece of software, and it's brilliant. I mean, it can literally triple a company's revenue in just 3 months. It automates everything, lead flow, sales optimization, and it actually works. We're talking proven results. It's a gold mine, right? But here's the catch. The business is completely stuck. It's going nowhere. Why? Because the guy who built it is holding it back. And that's the core problem, isn't it? You've got this incredible asset, this game-changing tool, but it's basically locked in a box. So, how do you get it out? How do you build a real engine around it to unleash all that potential and scale it up big time? Well, we're about to look at one strategist's super bold plan to do just that. Okay, so to really get this, we've got to understand the two key pieces on the chessboard here. First, there's the software itself. And second, there's the strategist who has this huge vision for what it could become. And this is where it gets tricky. Because the real roadblock here isn't technical, it's human. The guy who created the software, he's a genius, for sure. But he's also, let's say, super protective. The conversation describes him as seeing his project like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. You know, it's my precious. And that kind of mindset, well, it makes partnering up feel next to impossible. And look, we're not talking about some pie-in-the-sky idea. This thing is already out in the wild, making a real difference. For just one client, it's pulling in 5,000 euros a month on their 50,000 euro turnover. Think about that. That's a 10% slice from a single installation. So the value's there, it's totally proven. The real challenge is just one thing: scale. So how do you do it? How do you get that scale? Well, the strategy here doesn't start with more code or better features. Nope, it starts with people. The whole plan is to build a super specialized, high-octane sales engine, completely from scratch. First up in this engine, you've got your setters. You can think of these folks as the appointment makers. Their one and only job is to get qualified leads on the calendar. That's it. They don't sell, they don't do demos, they don't negotiate. They just fill that calendar with potential customers. And that's when the closers step in. They take those appointments that the setters booked, and, well, the name says it all, right? Their only focus is turning that meeting into a signed contract. This kind of specialization creates this just ruthlessly efficient pipeline. It's a straight line from hello to a done deal. So here's what the whole machine looks like when it's put together. The plan calls for a 15-person team. You have 2 setters who are just constantly feeding appointments to 10 closers. And then you've got 3 field reps to handle those crucial in-person meetings. And get this, the strategist claims they can build this whole thing, have it up and running in just 4 months. Pretty wild. Okay, so the sales engine is all designed. It looks great on paper. But what about our precious guy? How do you convince the protective creator to actually get on board with all this? Well, this is where the structure of the deal itself becomes the key to building trust. So they lay out 2 clear paths. Option A, come work for us. Get hired, become an employee. Or option B, we hire you as a subcontractor. You remain your own separate company, a partner. And this second option, this is everything. It shows respect for his ownership. It changes the whole dynamic from a boss and an employee to a real partnership between equals. And the role being offered here, it's not just sales director or something. It's way bigger. The quote from the conversation says it all. You would be an interim CTO in the end. The plan is basically, come in, build out the entire commercial and technical side of the business, turn it into a powerhouse that can run itself. And then you have the choice to leave. You can walk away, leaving a perfectly tuned machine behind. Total freedom.
This whole strategy, it's all driven by a really fascinating way of thinking, a true entrepreneur's mindset. So let's zoom out for a second from the nuts and bolts of the deal and talk about the core philosophy that makes this entire thing tick.
At its heart, this philosophy totally rejects the idea that for me to win, you have to lose. The strategist uses this great analogy. Think about a single bar opening up on a street. It might do okay, it might struggle, but what happens when 3 more bars open up on that same street? Suddenly, it's not just a street with a bar, it becomes the bar district. It's a destination, and everybody does better. It's not about fighting for your slice of the pie, it's about working together to bake a much, much bigger pie.
And this leads to a really fundamental insight into how this strategist thinks. See, for most people, the goal is money first, and then, maybe, you gain some knowledge along the way, right? But this approach says, nope, that's completely backwards.
And that brings us to the main event, the snowball effect. The typical path, you chase money and you hope you get some experience out of it. The strategic path, the snowball path, is the exact opposite. You focus on acquiring knowledge first. You build this solid foundation of real expertise so that when you finally decide to make your big move, you've already got so much momentum. The impact isn't just a little bigger, it's exponential. You're not just rolling a little snowball down a hill. You're starting a full-blown avalanche.
And this is where it all comes together, because we're about to hit the final and, honestly, the most mind-blowing reveal. It turns out this whole project, the software, building the sales team, the partnership, that's not actually the goal. It's just a single step on a much, much longer path.
Just look at this timeline. It shows the real plan. This project we've been talking about, it's literally just training. It's a real-world mission to master the Chief Strategy Officer role. And after that, there's another project lined up to master the Chief Financial Officer role. It is all a deliberate, calculated plan to acquire a specific set of skills for a massive project that's launching in 2027.
So what's this giant project in 2027? It's a plan to completely revolutionize agriculture and renewable energy in Spain. And the ambition is just staggering. The goal is to create an impact so huge it could increase the entire country's gross domestic product by 10%. All of a sudden, what looked like a clever business deal is reframed. It's not a deal. It's a training mission for a goal that could literally change a nation.
And that is the snowball effect in its purest form. A strategy where you intentionally gain knowledge and skills first, all to create a massive, world-changing impact later on. And it really just leaves us all with one big question to think about, right? Are you just working on whatever's next? Or are you deliberately building the skills you need for your own 2027? What long game are you playing?